Welcome to the second episode of the Catch Up Podcast with me, Bailey, and him, Fox. This week we're going to talk about PlayStation,
Ooh.
and we're going to talk about something else. And it's a little franchise that not many people have heard of called Star Wars.
I was going to do something, but
and Disney. We're going to mention a lot of Disney at some point because I really don't like Disney.
I was going to say you're going to mention a lot of Disney because I'm not sure of what we're going to be talking about yet.
Yeah. So first, we're going to kick it off. I'm being like a proper host on this one.
Yeah.
First, we're going to kick it off with a little segment that we like to call "What Have You Been Playing This Week?"
Hey, I made that up.
Yeah, you did. You were the creator.
I'm very proud.
I'm going to put TM Fox nowhere because it's not a video. But so you go first because it was your idea.
Okay. I'll let you go first. Thanks,
what have you been playing? You backdoor bandit. I don't know.
I've been playing a lot of Fire Emblem Warriors this week.
Oh yeah, you picked it up, didn't you?
Yeah, I've had it for months. Like I've had it since October, but I've just not really had time to sit down and play it yet. But I put about 15 hours in so far and beat the story. I'm just doing all the, the general Dynasty Warriors crap that you do after you beat the story. And then I also picked up Monster Hunter World this week.
Have you played much of it yet?
I have played maybe an hour of it.
Okay.
It was very weird to me at first because it's like I bought it on Xbox, but I'm going to use PlayStation terms because it's easier. And it's like triangle is to attack, and it's really, really bizarre.
Yeah, they've had a weird control scheme for a while.
But like for the first hour or so, I played like an hour and a half. Like I wasn't sure about it, but I've heard that the first hour is like a bit of a slog to get through. But then I got to my first big quote unquote fight. It was literally probably just like what is considered a small enemy in Monster Hunter, and it was so cool. Like you could tell like the phases in it, but it was natural. Like I was just beating on it for a while, like dual wielding daggers, and then like it ran off to like the beach, and then it just like ate something to like get its health back, and it just like swallowed something that was twice its size. It was great, and then it like had a completely different move set because its stomach was like inflated, so it like rolled around all the time, and then eventually if you slashed its stomach enough you would like slash it open and like it would get thin again and then run off, and it was great. So I am looking forward to it. I just need to get hands on the control scheme a bit better and actually learn the game, because I know this one is apparently a lot more user friendly, like new people friendly, but I'm still having some issues. I'm probably have to look up some guide somewhere.
Monster Hunter franchise has always been quite weird to me. The only one I ever played was Monster Hunter Tri, and that was the original version on the Wii.
Yeah.
But it's always had a weird, it's always been weird, and I'm glad I think it was smart of them to call it Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
Because calling it Monster Hunter 5 would have been, I think, quite bad.
Yeah.
Because people would, especially Xbox players, because this is the first one they've ever had.
Yeah, I think so. I believe you're right on that. It's always been like PlayStation and Nintendo. Am I right in saying that?
I think I'm right. It was originally PlayStation. It was on the PS2. 1 and 2 was on the PS2, and then they did 1 and 2 on the PSP. And I remember wanting Monster Hunter 2 on the PS2, but it was quite hard to get in PAL regions. And when I was young, I wasn't allowed to use eBay, obviously.
I those stories of eBay when you're younger.
So I just didn't get it. And then my friend Bradley was in love with Monster Hunter on the PSP because they were more. They were easier to get. They were quite.
Yeah, they were quite mass produced. They sell really well, the handheld ones. Well, I'm not saying the normal ones don't, but.
And so there's 3 games on the PSP: Monster Hunter 1 and 2, and then Monster Hunter Unite. And then the license switched over to Nintendo. The Wii got Monster Hunter Tri, then the 3DS got a version of Monster Hunter Tri, and then the 3DS got Monster Hunter 4, and then
did Monster Hunter 4 have Ultimate or?
And
But
then Switch
Double
got
Cross.
Double Cross in Japan only, and then we're now multiplat.
Double Cross
So
coming to the West next week, confirmed.
yeah, I was actually thinking about that earlier because I was like, well, because World's not on the Switch, why don't they just port Double Cross or translate it to Western audiences?
Yeah, there's.
And I thought, well, it'll just look terrible compared to World, and I thought, well,
No.
Nintendo aren't going to want that.
I don't think Nintendo are that bothered about that because you have handheld and docked anyway. Like, it's in Japan still. It's not going to change. Like,
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't know how well it
docked,
did.
it's not going to look as good as the PS4 or the Xbox One.
It's weird. I've had some really weird issues with how Monster Hunter World looks, and I've tried to look it up, and I believe it's like a HDR problem, like how they've implemented it. But everything just looks really weird to me, like in the game. I'll have to try and show it you if you ever like come round, but unless they fix it, like
They probably will fix it the day before I come around.
yeah, I just don't install the patch, uninstall it.
Are you been playing anything else other than those two?
I'm trying to think now. Have I been playing anything else? I do plan on playing Dragon Ball Fighter, picking that up tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that came out to pretty okay reviews.
I'm pretty. It's widely considered the best Dragon Ball game. I don't know where you heard mildly reviews.
I didn't say mildly. I said it was okay.
No, it's like I've just seen gleaming. That's all I've seen. I've like highest of praise.
It's on my PlayStation official magazine, like to my left.
Oh yeah, just so you know as well, for reference, because you were talking about Monster Hunter World. As I said, I got that on Xbox, but I plan on getting Dragon Ball for PlayStation. I was going to pick it up today, but game.
Why did you get it on Xbox?
Because I know more people on Xbox, like
Fair dues.
the multiplayer stuff, and Monster Hunter has never been a huge story-focused game, so I'm not bothered about the achievements not being on PlayStation.
I'm on the fence whether I want it.
I was, but I was like, hey, it's a new series. I've never really tried this IP before. If I don't like it, oh well.
I always found them quite difficult to get into. I don't know, it's because when I played Monster Hunter Tri, I was a stupid kid, and I didn't know what I was doing.
I think I actually did play like 10 minutes of Monster Hunter Tri. I think I borrowed it from Luke.
It was good. I'm stupid, so I don't know how to play games.
No, they are very, very hard to get into, and I know a lot. That's what Monster Hunter veterans have said for years.
And it was like, I got stuck on one of the bits where it was like, go find this one monster in this area. I was like, I can't find it, so I'm just gonna give up.
That is solved in Monster Hunter World. It's
okay.
It's very good. You can actually track the footprints of the monsters. And the more you track them, you get a little like research bar, and you learn more about the monster the more you hunt it. Very interesting. And then eventually, like the big ones, you pull up your map and you'll see them like moving in real time on the map.
Yeah,
it's very good. I do like a lot of those features.
I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it. Don't know what I've been playing this week.
Go on, since you've been teasing me about it.
I've been playing a whole host of video games.
No. You?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm skeptical here.
I've played so many different video games this week.
Now, I hope this is sarcasm in a way, but I will be genuinely surprised if it's not.
I've got one of the biggest surprises of a game that I bet you wouldn't even think I've played this week.
Sailor Moon for the PS2.
No.
Damn it.
I've been playing Rust.
Damn it! Oh god.
I've been playing Rust, and I've been playing a little bit of PUBG.
I thought you were going to surprise me. Why? I'm surprised that I'm not surprised. Oh.
I don't think I've touched another video game.
You not even Pokemon?
No.
But you bought it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I bought that the other day.
Oh, dude.
I bought Omega Ruby.
I didn't actually end up playing Alpha Sapphire. Sorry, go ahead.
Because we mentioned it last week, and I was like, oh, I'll have a look. I'll give the third gen another chance.
Yes, you do need to give it another chance still.
And I haven't given it a chance. Well, there is a reason for it. There's not like I just haven't played it because I'm that guy.
Because you're racist?
Yeah. But No, it's because I can't find my 2DS charger.
Oh,
So
that was the problem I had with my 3DS, and then I found it. It was just on the floor.
I just haven't played it. I didn't want to play it in case my 2DS died. That was it. Really.
I have something else I can throw into the ring just quickly. I've not played it, but I managed to grab myself another Fire Emblem game.
Oh, that doesn't. You can't use that. This is what you've played this week, not what you've bought this week.
Yeah, but
That's the next section of the show.
I didn't know that was the thing.
We're now moving on to what you've bought this week.
Okay, I guess I can kickstart that one. You can have the credits. Bailey TM on.
Yeah, I got Omega Ruby and I haven't played it.
I bought Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones on Game Boy Advance.
Did you? I didn't even know you'd bought that.
Yeah, I kept it a secret just for our catch up.
Oh, okay. You bought Thingy as well, didn't you? Another Fire Emblem.
Yes, Radiant Dawn on the Wii. I managed to pick up 2 in the space of 2 days. I went to CEX in
It's pronounced sex.
Oh, and
no, I'm not even joking.
I know, but like, it's stupid. I'd rather just call it CEX.
Yeah, it's pronounced sex. Have you not seen those dumb videos where they make Darth Vader into a mobile phone?
No, I haven't actually.
They're quite unironically funny.
Oh god. But yeah, I went in for an original DS charger. And then somehow I came out with a DS Lite charger because I didn't realize there was a difference. I completely forgot. And a copy of Game Boy Fire Emblem.
Wait, what? There's a difference between the DS Lite and the DS?
Yep. DS is the same as Game Boy Advance SP, which is like a thick one, and then the DS Lite is really thin, like 3DS, but not the same one.
I had no idea.
No, I was looking at it, and I was like, she was like, "Oh, do you want this one?" And I was like, "Yeah." and then I was like, "But I'm sure the Game Boy SP one is really thick." And then so I came back home, and then I had to order a Game Boy SP charger off of Amazon, and that's coming tomorrow. So
yeah. That was like me the other unrelated point, and this is probably just going to sound stupid, but that happened to me the other day where I was like, I phoned up the Chinese, and I wanted one specific thing. I just wanted a special chow mein.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, can I get this delivered?" And she's like, "You just want one item." And it's almost like she got really close. She's like, "You just want one item."
That was creepy. I could tell you got closer.
And then I was like, "Well, yeah, is that a problem?" And she's just like, "One item?" And I was like, "All right, I don't know." I got flustered at that point because I felt under pressure.
I'll have 3 chow mein specials and 3 bags of curry and 5. No, I'm not gonna go there.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I already get flustered when I phone up the Chinese.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I'm fine with most other things. I just get flustered when I phone up the Chinese. So I'm like, "Oh yeah, can I order a takeaway to my house, please?" And she's like, "Do you mean delivery?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I suppose."
Every time you say you phoned up the Chinese, I keep imagining you're talking to like the Chinese ambassador.
I phoned up China and they shipped it over. No, and she's like, "Oh, just one item." And I was like, I got really flustered, and I was like, "Well, okay, I'll have some sweet and sour chicken balls, please." And she laughed at me. She laughed, and I was like, "Oh, what have I done wrong?" And she let out a little giggle, and she's like, "Yeah, that's sure. That'll come to £11 exactly." And I was like, "All right, I'll see." She's like, "That's gonna take 30 to 45 minutes." Like, "All right, cool, that's good. Goodbye."
Have I never have to call again?
Yeah. Well, the worst thing is, like, my mum is terrible for it, but like, she's actually got the Chinese on the phone book. So I just go like, "Oh, I'll look at my phone directory book, click it, and then scroll down to says Chinese. Just immediately, we've got it on speed dial."
That's brutal.
And yet I still get flustered when speaking to this lady.
I remember when I was at yours and we had Chinese once. It was like my first Chinese ever.
It's probably from the same place. I probably got flustered then too.
Probably. I think you had to go to another room to order because you just didn't want me in the same room.
I get quite awkward with it because I don't know. She just made me feel uncomfortable, and I ended up buying more stuff than I wanted, and then I ended up like guilty eating all these chicken balls that I didn't want.
You used to
This
like
is
roast me for not like being able to order food in front of a person in real life, but you can't do it on the phone.
well, it's not that I have a problem with it. It's just that I always find it awkward. I never know what to say.
Yeah, and I don't know what to say in real life. I'm just like enjoy your food, you too.
Yeah, 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 but in real life, I'm fine with it. I'm like,
I have
hey,
got
baby, I'd like a McCheese bagel. And then they're like, oh, we don't serve that. And I'm like, well, make it for me then. And then I'd be fine doing that. And then I'd be like, wink at them, like, give them the gun finger, and then walk off without paying.
Sure. I've gotten better at it, to be fair. Like, I actually held a conversation with another human being when I was at sex, as you call it, or the official pronunciation, as it's called.
Yeah, but sometimes when you give, like, a real conversation with them, it's almost like they don't want it.
See,
So you,
I was
like,
quite surprised, like that. It seemed like she did want the actual conversation.
Oh, okay, that's fair enough. But like most of the time when I have a conversation, I'm like, because I remember I used to feel quite bad, like early days of the PS4 about buying old games, like buying PS2 games, because like I don't want them to think I'm poor. I want
That'll be 45 please for FIFA 97.
I don't want them to think I'm poor, so I'm like, it is actually, come to think of it, a bit behind the scenes collaboration, awesome. But it was actually the Godzilla fighting game that I bought.
Oh yeah.
And I was in a game shop that like did old games, so they're like cool with it. And I went in like picking up a PS2 game, and like, oh god, they're gonna think I'm poor. Not gonna think I can afford a PS4, and I still have to buy PS2 games. So I got to the counter, I placed it down. I was like,
don't worry, I'm
was like,
PS4.
I didn't even do that. I got even more like ashamedly bad about it. I was like, I put it down. I was like, oh, don't worry, I'm just a collector. I like to collect PS2 games. I like collecting old PS2 games. That's why I'm buying a PS2 game. And she like looked at me like.
Oh, that is brilliant. Of all the
she, like,
things you could have said.
I know. She just like looked at me and she's like, I don't care. And I was like, okay, I'll like. I can't even remember what I said after that. I just remember saying, oh yeah, I collect PS2 games. That's why I'm buying an old game.
Stop repeating it. It's killing me.
Like it was almost like I was scared of my financial situation. Like, don't worry, I can afford like a PS4 game. I just want a PS2 game because I collect them.
See, I was like that, but luckily for me, like the games I keep picking up are like kind of expensive for what they are. So I'm just there like, yeah, I'm currently collecting the Fire Emblem games. I managed to get one yesterday, Radiant Dawn, for like a really good price. And then she just started like chatting, like she was saying like, oh yeah, the guy who traded this one in that you're buying, he also traded in Path of Radiance for the GameCube. And then she was like, oh, he sold it for like £105. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And
then you go, oh, I'm actually a collector of Wii games. Don't judge me.
Yeah,
I can afford a Switch, please.
Yeah, but like Radiant Dawn was £50. It's more expensive than a brand new game.
True. Very true.
Luckily, I didn't have to pay as much for Sacred Stones.
I still feel quite like that about video games. Like I don't tend to buy like PS3 games just in case, because PS3 games is the section now where you're like, well, I can't get a PS4, so I might as well just carry on buying PS3 games.
Yeah, like in the 3-for-2 section or something, and like
yeah, and like there's no problem if that's what you do, but like I don't know why I have this complex where I'm like, oh, don't worry, I've got PS4, I'm gonna buy all those games too. But I collect PS3 games now.
Yeah, see, I always go to like our local game, and like by this point, I'm sure everybody knows me personally. Like I go in so often now just to like chat, and it's just like, hey, you're serving me again, 3rd week in a row. What you got to tell me this week?
Yeah, well, when I bought the Xbox, I was like, the guy was really nice, but he couldn't find me like all the deals had sold. All the stuff I wanted wasn't in store.
Yeah,
and it's just like. And then when I finally got it, it's like, oh yeah, cool. And then Like it like broke 2 days later,
Oh,
and he was mysteriously not there when he was supposed to be. And I was like, what?
Wait, is that the one? Because I went in and I was gonna like buy one, and I heard talking about bundles, and they were like, "Oh, we've only got one in the back that's broke."
Yeah, probably mine. But yeah, it was weird. It was just I don't. He's just mysteriously not there for a week after.
You're like, I never. To be fair, I never noticed him before, and he never came back.
Because he told me he was gonna be there. Like he told me.
That's weird.
Because when
I'll be here.
He wasn't.
Wink.
He wasn't there, so I got my buddy Ash Wayne to get me a new one.
Nice.
But what were we talking about?
Games we bought
Disney.
this week.
Disney and Star Wars.
Oh, we're gonna move on to that now because I don't think I bought any other games besides Dragon Ball, which I'm getting tomorrow.
I don't know. I might go and have another awkward interaction with someone at a retro video game shop, but
I do want to buy more GameCube games, but I don't have a GameCube.
GameCube's it really annoys me because you can't find GameCube games.
The Sex in Sutton has a very small collection of them.
Yeah, but they're always like they're not good.
Or the ones you've already got, like Luigi's Mansion. I was going to buy that as well, but I was like, this is too much money. I can't keep spending this week. I still have to wait another fortnight before I get paid.
Yeah, I haven't been paid actually. It's worrisome. I should have picked it up.
Probably.
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to start your Disney rant?
I don't have a rant.
Well, that ramble then.
Well, I'd like to include you.
Oh, that's very sweet.
We'll talk about Star Wars first.
Okay.
So you liked The Last Jedi.
I have liked every Star Wars movie except Episode 2.
I can agree. Well, do you mean before Disney? I can agree. I don't like Episode 2. I think it's one of the worst films I've ever seen in my entire life.
Like, I remember my Star Wars marathon. I don't know if I've already mentioned this or if I just talked to you in general. When I watched all 6 movies just before I went and seen Force Awakens, and then I just didn't. I think I slept through Episode 2, and then I woke up at Episode 3, and I was like, oh cool, I've not missed anything.
It's bad. It's just bad. There's no redeeming quality.
I used to like it. I remember liking it before, but now I'm just like, ooh no. The other two have redeeming qualities. This one, not so much.
I think as a kid I didn't like it as well. I like Phantom Menace. I still quite like it.
Yeah, I have a nice relationship with Episode 1.
I feel like
now this is pod racing. Yeah. Now this is podcasting.
Yeah. Well, I watched the video that had JonTron in it.
Yeah.
Like ages ago. It was a Cinemassacre video. The James Rolfe was showing JonTron his VHS dungeon. And they were talking about the Phantom Menace because John likes it.
Yeah.
And I agree with JonTron that it feels like a separate film.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't mind it. I think it's okay. I quite like Qui-Gon. I don't like the Gungan stuff. That could have been cut out completely.
Yeah.
And I agree that Jar Jar is possibly one of the worst things ever created.
You mean Darth Plagueis the Wise, who is secretly in control of everything?
I just don't like the film. I don't like him. I don't like the Gungans either. I think they're poor. I don't like the battle in Naboo either, where the Gungans fight the droids. It's just boring.
Yeah, it's just like it's good at like I've always appreciated people for like the world building or like what they kind of added to the world more so than like not everything like you just said with the Gungans.
Yeah, I just feel like I also bringing up another YouTube video. I just feel like they could have done something more to tie it back to the original trilogy. Like Naboo could have been Alderaan. Like quite easily.
True, like,
and we could have had like some sort of series like Lincoln and Alderaan. We could have seen a young Bail Organa and all this sort of thing.
Again, I don't know if that's in the expanded universe kind of stuff. I don't think it is in the current one. Obviously, it's just been reset. But
I can't be bothered with the expanded universe. I think it's. I'm reading the current Darth Vader run.
Yeah,
it's really average. It's like the dialogue's quite poor, and I don't like that.
See, I'm never bothered about that necessarily. I'm more interested in just the overall story / what What
Yeah.
do I now learn from Star Wars that I didn't know before, or anything like that? That's why I want to watch the animated series, as like, because I
Yeah.
want to, because apparently it makes kind of like episode 2 bearable. Like it adds a
Well,
lot more to, or like it adds a lot to say Anakin.
yeah,
Um,
and there's some other characters. Like in the older ones, General Grievous was elaborated, and you find out about why he was coughing all the time. But in Revenge of the Sith, we just sort of jump in. We see a droid with some fleshy bits coughing,
yeah,
and we know he's this really cool guy, but we've not seen him be a really cool guy.
true. Like General Grievous is one of the most like sad like villains in that respect. Of like he could have been so good if they'd have like.
Well, it's the same for Darth Maul. We don't actually get much time with him.
True, but then again, you get him post episode 1. Spoiler.
Robot legs.
Yes, by the robot boy, like the son of
Yeah.
Dothmir or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it all feels a bit Lord of the Ringsy when it gets to that point. Like Aragorn, son of Arathorn, ancestor of Ithildu or something, whatever his name
Did
is.
I tell you about the live action Lord of the Rings TV show that they want?
I told you about it.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if you heard, like, because they like I've kind of been talking about it more recently.
I don't know. I really don't care for it.
But it's on Amazon. You praise Amazon.
I don't praise Amazon.
I just remember a very old argument when we were was better, Netflix or Amazon, and I've slowly moved over to Amazon.
I think Amazon's better. I think Amazon Prime package is better
Yes.
than Netflix, but Amazon Prime Video is not as good as Netflix.
I do really like one thing. We've gone completely off topic as normal. But I'll say this quick. Like, if you're watching on like your PC, Amazon Video, it has like a thing called X-ray, and like whatever scene you're in, it tells you like what actors. I love that. Or if they
That's good. It's on the iPad app as well.
And what is it? So like, I was watching Mr. Robot the other week, and like at the very end of one of the episodes, like one of the characters said something, and then in the top left it was like, "Hey, this is a reference to such and such." I was like,
cool.
I was like, that's really good. Like they're putting actual time and effort into this. Like as soon as a character comes on screen.
It's just takes you out of the TV show a bit sometimes.
Yeah, like I can see it being like, well, you have to like touch the screen for it to come up, but it's really helpful for those moments where you're like, where you kind of took out of it anyway, and you're like, I know this actor, I've seen him somewhere before. What the hell is he in?
Cool, yeah.
And then you like pause it, and then rather having to go to IMDb, you just like click them and they're right there.
Yeah, and you're like, oh no, they're real like Santa Claus. No, I'm not. Why did I use that? For Star Wars,
Yes.
I like Revenge of the Sith a bit. I have a very big problem with how it ends. Like the last half an hour is trash. It's trash.
Well, that's like I felt. Well, that's not the ending. I like. Is the ending like the giant volcano lava fight scene?
No, I mean like the last like 30, 40 minutes of the film is trash.
I thought that was the last 30, 40 minutes.
No, the last 30, 40 minutes is when everything happens. Like Sidious goes, commence Order 66.
Execute Order 66. Yeah, great.
And Commander Cody goes, yes, sir, I will miss every back to tank shot at Obi-Wan on his little screeching lizard bird thing. And
God, for some reason, I thought it literally ended after like Anakin got the high ground. Well, Obi-Wan.
But it was like, because the last half an hour of the movie, everything just happens.
Yeah.
The whole like 2 movies before and the half of the movie before this is nowhere near where the original trilogy is going to fit in.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like George's like, oh my god, I've just realised I've got 3 films I did before. What am I going to do? Oh yeah, I'll just go, every Jedi dies because Sidious goes, Order 66. And everyone dies.
Well,
everyone dies.
Let it be what it is.
All the separatists get wiped out because that needs to happen because that doesn't exist.
I can see what you mean in that respect. Then, yeah, like they have to.
It's
like
almost like he forgot. It's weird because the pacing even alludes to the fact that it's almost like he forgot he made the original trilogy.
Confirmed. Original trilogy came first.
It's just weird because it doesn't feel right because it just happens. Everything just sort of, you're watching like all this other thing happen, and then all of a sudden something else completely happens and changes the way the movie goes and changes there's so many easier ways they could have fit it. The whole Revenge of the Sith should have been a prelude to the original trilogy, not the last half an hour should have been a prelude.
I'm trying to think of like if you could make an argument for like if it's helped or hindered the new trilogy with it being set like the same amount of time in the future as it has been from the movies. Like, say,
I don't think there is. I
like,
just think.
I mean, do you think it helps because like they don't have to necessarily say where those last 30 odd years have gone necessarily, or like I'm trying to word it properly.
I'm gonna use my major problem with it. Right, there's a problem. There's a reason why Star Wars is in a very difficult position, and there's a reason why nothing ever compares to the originals. Okay, right? It's because there was no need to change Star Wars into Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. Nobody generally cared or needed to see in film form how Anakin became Darth Vader. And nobody needed to know what happened to Luke, Han, Chewie, and Leia after Return of the Jedi. There is no need for a sequel or a prequel.
I agree with you. There's no need for a sequel necessarily, but like, yeah, there is no need for a prequel either. But like, it's nice to kind of just have it because, in a way, it is weird to be like, hey, yeah, Darth Vader, he is a very big character in this universe, but like, who is he? Like, where did he come from? Like,
yeah, but
I guess that's just me personally. I'm very lore heavy when it comes to stuff like that. I'm like, I need to know everything. But
see, that's my major problem. I don't think it's needed. I think the whole point in Vader being Vader is the fact that we believe that he killed Luke's father until Empire Strikes Back, right?
Yeah.
And so we don't need to know. We don't need a prelude to know that he is Anakin. We don't need to know any of that.
No, but you learn that after the fact if you watch it in the release order. Like,
but the trouble is, it's harder to watch it in release order after 2005.
How so?
Because that's not what people do. They go, "Oh, one's the first one. We'll stick that in."
True. Okay, I get you from that point, and then it ruins the atmosphere of 4 and 5 of like the build-up of Darth Vader. Like, I can totally understand what you mean from that perspective. I guess that's just because
a general audience will stick in the Phantom Menace before they stick in New Hope.
Okay, yeah, I'll agree with that. Like people who haven't experienced Star Wars before, unless you specifically tell them like, like this is my preferred watching order. Like,
yeah,
4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and then people go, "My, just listen."
Yeah, my particular order is is 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then the Clone Wars movie, then 3.
Yeah,
I like the Clone Wars movie. It's so stupid, but I quite like
it. My preferred watching order is Han Solo, Episode 9, Episode 3. Yeah, I've already watched Han Solo. It's great. Don't worry.
It's bad. Ron Howard completely messes everything up.
The film just cuts at black after 20 minutes, and then it's just like, I don't know. You just sit there for an hour, and then just nothing happens on the screen.
Credits roll.
Credits roll for an hour and a half. That's the whole movie.
Yeah. There's so many people working on it.
And then stuff happens in the background.
Should we move into the sequel era now? Because I feel like we talked about the prequels for longer than we needed to, because it's an argument already that's...
The age-old debate that is like ended close.
Nobody disagrees on the prequels. We all think they're pretty average.
Yeah.
And some people think they're pretty bad, but even the people that think they're average and the people that think they're bad agree that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because...
It doesn't matter what you think of them.
No, honestly, that is probably true. Star Wars movie. Oh well, probably for any movie ever, it doesn't matter what you think of them, either like it or you don't. But like, it's just the Star Wars fandom seems to agree on something.
I feel like there's a necessary argument between not liking a film and liking it for most things, but for the prequels, there's no need. You don't need to discuss it.
Yeah.
They are what they are. You can't escape it. You've got to like them no matter what. with Star Wars.
It's Star Wars. You either like every movie or you quit watching them all together.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if it's a Lucasfilm era Star Wars movie, you can't dislike it.
Yeah.
I've covered myself there, because now I'm going to go into the pit where Disney buys George Lucas's brain, and some of Spielberg's left cortex.
Confirmed Steven Spielberg created the prequels. Or did we say the original trilogy? What was our original weird theory?
Well, no, I don't know why we came up with this theory, because it's common knowledge that other people directed 5 and 6. But our theory in like year 8 was that Spielberg did the original trilogy.
Ah, right. Okay, yeah.
Like, he penned a lot of it, which could still be true. I don't know.
What are you on about? It is true.
Well, no, I was talking Disney, because Disney bought Lucasfilm, didn't they? Which means they own Indy, and Spielberg is Indy's creator.
Yeah.
And that's what I was referring to. But we're not going to talk about Indiana Jones, because I can't think of a bad thing to say about any of the Indiana Jones.
I have not watched any of them. Shoot me.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is okay. It's not as bad as people say it is.
Right, Star Wars.
Let's get on
Sequels.
to Disney. Let's get on to the sequels.
Yeah.
We'll briefly mention Force Awakens, because I think Force Awakens has been beaten like a dead horse.
Yeah, it's been like what, 2 years?
Yeah, it's been 2015 when it came out.
That's crazy.
So my brief overview of Disney period of Star Wars is I've liked 1 out of the 3 movies.
I've enjoyed 3 out of 3 movies.
Okay. We're not going to go into a debate, because I don't think it's necessary.
No, we never debate. We just kind of always just say what our opinions are, and then we're both like, okay, that's cool.
I mean, neither of us tend to sway to each other's opinions, so it's...
No, that's very true. We just still respect each other's opinion.
Neither of us ever win. Sometimes I can sway your opinion on things that you'd like blatantly miss, and then when I point it out, you realise.
Yeah.
But it's never like I never sway your opinion from liking something to disliking something.
You just make me understand, like, oh yeah, maybe there is a problem with that.
Yeah. So The Force Awakens is a major problem. It's too safe.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything bad with safe, but that's just my personal.
I think there is when it goes to the point where it's too safe. See, the thing is, they've got to find a sweet point. And I'm going to mention Last Jedi briefly now, and before we go on to it later. Can I just remind you, we were going to talk... This episode was about PlayStation.
Oops.
Yeah, we've gone on for 40 minutes about... I don't know what. I think we went on for 10 minutes. We were laughing at my idiocy for being a PS2 collector.
Probably. It'll end on PlayStation. It can be called... The episode can now be changed to... Let's talk about Disney and a bit of PlayStation.
Yeah, we'll talk about PlayStation next week or something. We might as well talk about this, because I feel like Disney's a massive topic now.
True.
Because my opinion isn't out there on the internet. I've not mentioned anything yet.
I don't exist on the internet.
Yeah, you're pretty absent. I think you should get on the internet. I think it'd be quite funny. Just get an Instagram page where you post your opinions.
Yeah, there's no photos. It's just or pictures of opinions.
Yeah. So the problem is, so far, Rogue One doesn't count. I think Rogue One was really safe. It was a bit like a fan film, but I really enjoyed it. Right?
Yeah.
But that's a spin-off, so that doesn't count, right? The Force Awakens is way too safe. The Last Jedi is way too risky.
that is a quite an accurate. Must have been so far.
Wait, you cut out there for a second. I think we're gonna have to find some way of getting better quality, because Discord has been cutting out recently. Can you just go over that again?
No, I was just saying that's a very, very accurate description of what the sequels are.
So far for me, they've misfired so much. So bit of trivia, and this bugs me. This really bugs me. I saw Force Awakens once in the cinema, enjoyed it. I saw Force Awakens the second time in the cinema, enjoyed it. I saw, but I found problems with it. I saw Force Awakens the third time in the cinema, found even more problems with it. I think in the second time I went to the toilet, and I never go to the toilet in the middle of a film, but I did that time. And then the third time I enjoyed it, because third time I went with my dad, and so that was his first experience. So I was sort of enjoying that. and I found problems with it then. And then Blu-ray release came. I watched it again and again. And every time sort of watched it, I found more problems with it, and I finally come to the conclusion that I didn't like it. I think it's not good, but I don't think it's bad. What bugs me, I mentioned this 2 minutes ago, that's why I was bringing up this fact, is when people go, is when I mention that I saw it multiple times in cinema, and then I say I didn't like it, and then they go, why'd you go multiple times in cinema? I was like, well, because it's Star Wars, right?
Honestly, I don't, because I just don't. I've never been to the cinema twice. I want to. I should have seen Last Jedi with you, like, to help you formulate your opinion further on that film.
Like, because people like, what I don't get how people don't understand it. Like, Star Wars is magic. Star Wars is what cinema was made for.
It's the closest thing to magic we'll ever get in life.
Well, no, it's what the cinema was made for. Star Wars is the best way to watch Star Wars is on the big screen.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Nothing compares.
Nothing compares to the surround sound. From like when I watch it.
Well, when Force Awakens came on, the first time I watched it, I cried.
I got very whoa at it,
because it's like you see the Lucasfilm logo, and then all of us, and unfortunately we didn't get to see Fox. That bugs me, really bugs me, because that's Star Wars.
Yeah,
but that's not the point. That's not the point. And then the big booming Star Wars theme comes on, and I went like a baby.
Yeah, I was like, I had welling in my eyes. I was like goosebumps. I was like, this is something special. And
then I cried again when it ended because the music came on again.
Yeah,
but that's what Star Wars is to me. Star Wars is the reason I am who I am. It's difficult to describe Star Wars. I've become very much a backseat fan of the last few years, and I've not taken as much interest as I used to. But Darth Vader was my first words.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Star Wars is what it's what started my love of film. It probably will be what carries me to my death, but it's so important to me, and I think that's probably why I get even more annoyed with the new ones than some do. And I can understand why people like them, and I don't. I've never been one for saying, "Oh, you like it, so you're wrong." I'm not like that. I've never been like that, but yeah, I've talked for a while. You talk.
So what are your main issues with the Force Awakens? Just you think it's too safe? Is that your biggest gripe?
It's too safe,
seeing those things.
It's a remake of New Hope.
I personally don't mind it being that safe, because if I was somebody creating a franchise that is highly considered one of the best things of all time, it's up there. I would be pretty much bricking it that I'm oh god, I've been in charge with setting up the first new Star Wars movie in a long time. We don't include the prequels, but even with them, it's still a long time.
Even then, it was 10 years since.
And I'd be scared, and I'd be I'm gonna make something that I know people enjoy, and I don't know, even because obviously we'll never know necessarily going through JJ's head, when he was making the decisions he made for Episode 7, and he might have been thinking, oh, I'll copy Episode 4 just because it's safe, or he could have been thinking, I'm going to make a movie that is similar to A New Hope, and then that has I always use the word callbacks, and I know you don't necessarily like it, but it references things to New Hope, or scenes are very similar, and he might just personally like that. I'm hey, the fans will enjoy. And maybe he never intended it for it to come off as an Episode 4 clone. Maybe he did. But I still enjoyed the movie for what it was. And it was more Star Wars. And I got to see lightsabers again. For the first time in the cinema for me. I never got to see any of the Star Wars movie in a cinema.
Really?
No,
I saw... What year did... So, what was it? What year did it come out? It was 1999 for The Phantom Menace. So I didn't see Phantom Menace until it was out on VHS. I saw the Clone Wars, or Attack of the Clones, sorry, on in cinema, and I saw Revenge of the Sith in cinema.
So that's crazy to me because I don't know why. I don't know. My dad didn't introduce me to them until I was a bit old. Like, so obviously by the time I was a bit older, like, they weren't in the cinema, obviously.
Mm. I don't know. I always watch the Star Wars films. Like, some of the first films were the original trilogy, so I don't know.
I'd say I think I may have just
people.
been exposed late to it. But like whenever we finally had copies of whatever on VHS or DVD,
Yeah.
like I think it would have been the DVDs at that point. Like,
yeah, probably. I agree. The only thing I agree with you on there is that it's more Star Wars. I just don't think it was necessary to make it super safe. I get that it needed to be safe to some extent. I'm not saying that
it made money.
They should have made a truly original Star Wars sequel. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it was too safe, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very hard to find that balance, though. Like for some people, like you can't please everyone.
Rogue One was good.
Yep, I agree.
It's the first Gareth Edwards film where I feel like he's done all right in Hollywood. Monsters was I'm not a massive fan of Monsters, but I recognise it as it's a very good indie film. Godzilla 2014 wasn't for me. I truly hated that. Well, I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it.
I know. You voiced your opinions a lot back. I say back in the day, but when that came out.
And then this was his first attempt at a Star Wars film, and he got it right for me. So we'll move on quickly on to The Last Jedi, because I think this was a train wreck of a Star Wars film. I don't know how they got it so wrong. It stems from Disney, personally, and the head of Lucasfilm and Lucasfilm in general, that Kathleen woman.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say it like this because I feel like this will get to you. I feel like you'll understand my point. How in God's name does a big studio like Disney and Lucasfilm give a guy a middle film in a trilogy that was started by somebody else?
Well, I mean,
to write and direct it.
Well, I learned this recently that J.J. Abrams actually did have some input in The Last Jedi. He was like executive producer in it, or something.
Executive
like
producer just fund it. I'm gonna be honest. That's how the film.
I do not believe that they would have just like been like, hey, what? Like, just literally said to this guy, like, watch episode 7, just do whatever you want with it. Do like continue where you think it's.
But that's how it feels. How do you like follow on from Force Awakens by ignoring every story setup and discounting it? How do you do that? I get a few of them, but how can you just chuck all of it out the window?
Name some examples, because I don't agree. I like strongly disagree with you here. Well, maybe it's because I'm not gone back and I've not watched.
See, I saw it twice in the cinemas, and I didn't like it the first time. This time, I went in expecting something pretty average. Following, so I wasn't going in with high expectations to be let down. I was going in with pretty low expectations to be picked up, and I walked out with worse reaction than I thought I was going to do. I still saw it twice.
Maybe you needed to see it 7 times to make sure you knew what your opinion was.
Yeah,
because I thought that like maybe the more you watch The Last Jedi, you'd have liked it more. But you've only seen it twice, so maybe your opinion will change again when it comes out.
How many times did you watch it?
Once.
Oh, okay. I remember because you watched it launch night, right?
Yes, I watch every Star Wars movie launch night because I don't like spoilers.
See, I don't see any spoilers anywhere. Anyway,
see, I don't, but my dad's a loudmouth and he'll see spoilers and then he'll spoil it for me.
I don't like launch. I don't like midnight releases. I think it's I find them annoying. I understand why people do it. I'm not one of those people like, oh, it's stupid. Why would you go at midnight? If you want to see a movie when it comes out, go and see the movie when it comes out. I find them annoying because you often get people that, like, I saw. Jesus Christ, I've got like really bad chest. I've seen 2 films midnight release. I saw Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And that was an okay experience. I didn't mind that. That was an alright one. But before that, I saw Civil War at midnight. Yeah. And that, well, I didn't like Civil War anyway, but that experience,
which means you're not going to like Infinity War.
It's
the same directors.
Yeah, but so was Winter Soldier.
Fair enough.
I really liked Winter Soldier.
I really like Winter Soldier as well.
But like when I watched Civil War, there was a guy eating nachos in front of me, and like when it got towards the end, you started finishing them off when it got quiet, and I honestly, because that sort of thing annoys me. So I genuinely felt like punching him in the back of the head. Because like, well, I'm trying to watch this big Marvel film where I've got 4 billion superheroes on the screen fighting each other. You're crunching away at some knockoff Doritos.
See, I've never had a bad experience like at the cinema like that, like a loud person or anything. I don't feel like.
Oh, X-Men was terrible when I watched X-Men Apocalypse. That's a pretty average movie as well, by the way.
Yeah, that one I'll agree with you. It's the worst of the new X-Men.
It was still alright, though.
Yeah, it was. So I still enjoyed it. I still thought it was really good, but it was.
I don't like Oscar Isaac though.
Yeah. Tell me a second.
I don't like him, but that's a different story for a different day. For when we talk about Last Jedi and when we're supposed to talk 5 minutes ago, there was like I could get in trouble for talking about it.
How?
Because like the way I'm trying to think how I'm going to phrase it so I don't sound like a bad guy. But when I watched X-Men Apocalypse, there was a disabled girl at the back.
Oh yes, I remember. I remember this story.
And she would repeat lines after they were said really loudly.
Yeah, like I'm not even necessarily funny bits, but I remember you talking very strongly about this. I don't think you'll come across as bad because you have genuine reason to be like annoyed.
And to me, like, it's difficult because like there's a point I want to make, and I don't know if it's going to come across badly. But to me, if there was a disabled person, I feel like there should be a specific screening for them.
Yeah, like, I totally get what you mean, because there's like hard of hearing screenings and the subtitled ones. But I'll admit, I go to the subtitled Star Wars movies at midnight because nobody sits in those screenings.
Really?
Yeah. My dad accidentally booked Rogue One with subtitles. He like just did it on an accident because he saw it was like, this one's pretty empty because all the others were full. And I got there and I was like, Dad, why is this in subtitles? Why is there only 3 guys? And the guy in front of me, his wife has just switched seats because she says, "Oh, you can't hear me very well in this other ear, honey." And I was like, "Oh God, Dad, what have you done?" And then I actually enjoyed it. It was chill. There was only 4 of us in the cinema screen, so I was like, "Last Jedi, book it with subtitles."
Having subtitles is fine.
Star Wars do them pretty good. Like they're not invasive at all.
But yeah, I felt like if someone's shouting, I did go out to the snack bar and make a complaint, but like,
let's say you did what most people would not have done. Most people would have probably just turned around and said something offensive directly to them, or
like a guy did leave the screening.
You have a right to go out and voice something. Like you can't let people...
I'm not saying they shouldn't go to the cinema. I'm just saying that like there's got to be
some sort of thing, system in place.
Something that is better for them.
Yeah, because they don't want to obviously be like told, "Oh, you've done something wrong. Like you can't be here," because that's not what we want to put across. There has to be, because you can't treat somebody differently just because of how they are. Like they can't get special. They don't want to be treated differently, so you can't give them like special treatment. No. This person has something different about them, so we can't tell them off. Like I never got that necessarily. Like it's not being nasty because they have something different with them. You're just trying to treat them like a normal other person. And if another person was being like loud in the cinema, you would complain. Like
So, Last Jedi.
15 minutes ago at this point.
it's. You wanted to know what were you? You wanted to know why I didn't like it or something?
Yeah, well, that was like when I was talking about. I wouldn't really fully even start Last Jedi because I really like Last Jedi. I liked it more than Force Awakens. Like it's up there in my like top 3 Star Wars movies now. Like I know it's very, very. I'll say it's the most divisive Star Wars movie.
Well, that's the thing. All I've heard from it is that those that don't like it despise it. Those that like it love it.
Yeah, there's no middle ground. Just
You
like
want
that.
to know what my like the plot points and why I thought they were bad
Oh
for
yes,
chucking it all out.
because that was it.
So, in Force Awakens, the big mystery is who's Rey's parents.
Oh, see, I know what you're going to say, and I'm going to completely disagree with you.
Right, and then for me, the biggest mystery wasn't that.
Yeah.
So that one I can let slide. And you weren't expecting that.
No, I wasn't actually. I thought you was gonna do what most people say about that topic and just like
that one I can let slide. My biggest mystery.
You shouldn't let it slide. You should like appreciate it.
No, I'm not appreciating it because I think it's still stupid, but I can let it slide.
How was it stupid? We'll see. This is where like our first argument, friendship over.
No, I don't think it was necessary to do it. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to do it.
Plus, we don't know if that's the truth or not. But I think it is.
Yeah. I didn't. My biggest mystery from Force Awakens is who the hell is Snoke.
Yes.
Because how in the world did this super-powered Sith Lord survive and not be mentioned in any of the other films?
Yeah.
And then for him to just not get any explanation and die?
Yeah. I have more recently like changed my opinion on this. I don't mind it as much now because like for me it gave Kylo more of a character in a way, like he didn't care about like it sounds weird, but he didn't care about that plot line. No, this is about me.
As soon as you mentioned him, I'll go about Kylo Ren now. Kylo Ren is the only good thing in the new Star Wars movies.
It's so weird though, because when Episode 7 came out, everybody crapped on him.
I loved him in Force Awakens.
I liked him as everyone, but everybody I knew was like, he's just a whiny baby. He smashes up computers.
But that's fine.
Yeah,
that's completely fine because we haven't ever experienced a Sith like that.
Yeah, like, and wouldn't you be frustrated if you were told like the things that he was told, and especially in this movie where he's like, and I think that rage over the two movies is what led to him killing Snoke, and that's why I appreciated it.
No, I still wanted to know about Snoke.
Yeah, I still want to know, but again, hashtag expanded universe.
Kylo Ren is an embodiment of Anakin and Darth Vader. Anakin. The reason why Anakin didn't go off the hinge is because he had Jedi training. Kylo Ren didn't really. He had a school set up by Luke that he didn't quite know how to run.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any guidance. And the point of Kylo Ren is to... Now, a big part of his message was that don't, forget about the past. Forget about the original trilogy.
Yeah, that is
prequels.
literally what this movie is trying to say. And that's what it wants to do, and it did it well. Like, that's why I like this movie. Like, you may not like that.
It's too smug about itself.
Yeah, but I think
it thinks it's a good movie. That's my problem.
I don't think it thinks it's a good movie, though. I
think it does. I think Rian Johnson thinks he's created a masterpiece, and he hasn't. He's created.
Well, there's some people he has. Like,
I don't know if I don't get it, because everyone was like, every cast member was like, "Oh, this is something you've never seen in a Star Wars movie before." But the point of Star Wars is it's not. it didn't need an edgy, cooler uncle. It didn't need it. And that's what The Last Jedi is.
I'm not sure I follow. Like, what do you mean, like, cool edgy uncle? Right. The movie is the cool edgy uncle.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's trying to spit in the face of your other authorities, saying, "Oh, they're just leading you the wrong way."
No, I don't think it's saying that. I think it's just saying, "Hey, we want to make our own story. We want this Star Wars to be its own thing. We don't want to be." Like
they make a different sci-fi movie or
no.
movie.
I think what it's trying to say is we don't want the original trilogy to define us, and that's what, like, forget the past and like taking a lot of the characters out from the original trilogy and being like, hey, this is what we are shaping Star Wars to now be.
Well, if Episode 9 is anything like The Last Jedi, then I don't want episode 9.
Well, no,
Because
because episode 9 puts us in a very, very weird situation. Because you said, and I have gone back and I actually agree with you now, that episode 8 has a lot of references and a lot of exact same shot scenes from episode 5 and 6. And you said there's a lot of parallels. And
episode 9 now doesn't have a film to copy.
Exactly. So now you are getting what you want. It could not be. It can't be safe because it can't copy anything.
Not necessarily. The trouble with it is we want a middle ground. I don't want a safe movie. I don't want a risky movie. I want a middle ground. I want new ideas, and I want them to blend with old ideas. I don't want something that completely blows everything out of the water.
Which to you was The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if because of the mixed reactions to episode 7 of being too safe, some people didn't like that, some people did like it. I don't know if that's what then influenced them.
Why go to the complete opposite end of the spectrum?
Because some people do that. People are like, fine, you didn't like that. Well, here you go. Here's something you've never seen before. And then because they've done both opposites, maybe they'll find the middle ground. Not the high ground, not the low ground, the middle ground.
Kylo Ren's quite cool. I quite like Kylo Ren.
I really like him.
I don't like
Naked Boy.
I feel like I like Adam Driver. I think he's a really good actor. Even though he looks a bit weird. But
I just kept staring at his scar the whole movie until it finally got fixed at the end.
I don't like Rey.
I like Rey. I don't mind her.
I think she's a poor lead. I don't like Finn. I think he's pointless.
I don't like Finn as much, but I will argue that he isn't, because there needs to be both sides to this argument. Like
the whole Finn and Rose thing was.
It wasn't like I assume you're one of the people who just like absolutely
cut it out.
Hated Canto Bight, which is the
cut it all out.
Like I don't think there was necessary to like cut it all out because it gave a lot of.
It's just the same. It's just recreating a Mos Eisley canteen scene again.
No, it's not though. Like because well, in a way it is, but it's not because it's like completely different of the kind.
It's even got the Scar music in the background.
Well,
it's exactly the same. But
yes, but I'm saying it's because
it's exactly the same, but it's not villainy and scum. It's villainy and scum of the rich world.
Yeah, but I'm more thinking of like the location. Yeah, it could be replaced with any old location, but. Like,
that's one of my problems as well.
I've heard the widespread hate for Canto Bight, and I have heard every single argument against it, and
it's a really stupid idea because it's all of it's based on the idea that animals are people too.
Canto Bight itself isn't necessarily needed, but I don't believe that that you should just instantly negate Finn and Rose because of that. Because I personally
also
really like Rose. The moment I saw her, I was like, yeah, she's a Star Wars character.
Also, Finn swears.
Does he?
Yeah, he says the B word, and I'm really against someone swearing in a Star Wars film.
But people were saying that Disney kiddified Star Wars.
I didn't need to swear. That kind of bugs me. I know it shouldn't bug me, but there's been no need to swear in a Star Wars film before. Why start now?
Yeah, but
Benicio del Toro's character is really pointless too. The whole storyline is just bogus. There's no need for it.
Yeah, but I think it's more of like developing Finn as a character.
It just adds to the already long running. The running time's really long. It's too long.
I didn't feel the runtime. I knew it was long, but I didn't necessarily feel it. Like maybe
I did.
Like I don't know. I enjoyed it for what it was, and like I don't know. I didn't necessarily like the entirety of Canto Bight, but I liked what they were trying to do with it. And again, as I said, like setting up the Finn storyline of what he has learned and what he needs to learn, and that's like towards the end of the movie when he's like, "Oh, I need to like sacrifice myself to save everyone," and he thinks that's what.
Yeah, and they stop it.
Yeah, like
he should have died.
Yeah, but I think again that was like them trying to say, or like Rose trying to say to him, you don't have to like sacrifice yourself to be a hero, because then what's the point?
Then why does Luke do it?
Yeah, but he's like old. He doesn't necessarily. Yeah, but that's like the entire galaxy would have gone at that point. Like there was no guarantee that would have stopped the Death Star technology beam ray thing, which is basically just a giant cannon made of kyber crystals, I assume.
Maybe it would have been better.
I don't think it would have. I don't think it would have changed anything.
I think it would have given The Last Jedi something genuinely edgy instead of it pretending to be edgy.
See, I don't get where you're getting edgy.
It also
from.
should have ended because that's what it is. That's what it's trying to be.
See, I think
it's trying to be Empire Strikes Back, but yet
it's not.
It is. It so is.
It's not. To me,
It is.
like again, we always strongly disagree with each other when it comes to Star Wars. I'm gonna have to like.
The problem is like it should have ended like half an hour earlier,
Fox.
where the bad guys were sort of on top, and the good guys had lost.
Yeah. But it kind of still does.
It doesn't though, does it? Because they come up with this really long, winded victory statement. We are the spark that lights the flame that lights the whatever to the First Order.
Yeah, but it's like when they had put out for the distress signal, nobody came. Like all that hope has like gone. Like nobody came to help them. Yeah, but they are like alone in the galaxy. Like nobody's gonna help them. Like they are still on bottom. It's not like they're magically gonna win like in 5 seconds.
Didn't win though. The bad guys didn't win though, did they?
No, they didn't win, but they got down close. Like they took out 99% of the rebellion. And yeah, well, the 1% is going to come back and destroy the entire First Order.
I don't like the plot. It's boring.
Again, it just depends on what two different people see as boring or not boring. Like, I thought it was interesting to have it as like this one big chase. Like, I don't get it necessarily of just like, oh no, they're just outside of our range of our blasters the whole movie. That I don't quite get. And why couldn't they just like light speed slightly ahead so that they'd be in range? Or like,
I'm gonna say something that I find really funny. Why do they arc the lasers?
What do you mean?
Well, when the Empire, I'm not calling them the First Order because that's just a way of making more toys with different labels. When the Empire fires its lasers
right
at the
big rebel ship,
at the rebel cruiser,
yeah,
they arc
the
lasers so they fire upwards and it comes down.
Well, that's just that's you just noticing something.
No, it's a big thing.
I did not notice that whatsoever.
It's a big thing because it's like it sets its own space rules, right? I know Star Wars is a fantasy film more than a sci-fi film, and it sets its own space rules. However, right, they do establish that lasers in space there's no gravitational pull, there's nothing. It doesn't need to arc a laser.
The laser itself could have its own gravitational like.
Don't start with that.
No,
stupid.
No, we don't know what Star Wars technology is. There has been.
We do because X-wings don't need to arc a laser.
Yes, but that's not a train. Yeah, but again, the Resistance do not have the resources that the First Order do. But slash the Empire.
So the rebels have a better blasters then, because they can fire straight without having to aim.
No, like you could argue that the arcing like missiles are for like we don't know what their use is. Like it's not been. I didn't even know this existed, but I'm just trying to kind of think of why they would do that if it would have to go over something and then like a drop from above, like to bypass something. That's all I can think of.
Also, the Mary Poppins scene. Right?
Yeah, that's just weird.
Got to mention it. Elephant in the room. Stupidest scene of 2017.
Out of place, definitely. Stupid, maybe. Does it ruin the film? No.
It doesn't ruin the film, but it just.
It's a very weird ridiculous way to introduce that concept. To be like they could have
already knew she was force sensitive though.
But yeah, like there could have been many different ways to show off like that. It definitely
also can I bring up something else about space rules too? So when they shoot the bridge, right? Space, because it's an innate vacuum, right?
Yeah,
sucks them all out in space.
Yeah, because the cabin depressurizes. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so. It did that when that happened.
Yeah.
So when Mary Poppins comes back into the bridge that's blasted open,
Yeah. When the door opens, why doesn't...
And then the door opens that leads directly to a vacuum of space because the bridge is open. Why doesn't the door then suck everyone through it?
Force field. Creating a artificial barrier until the door is closed.
It sets up its own space rules, then forgets about them 3 seconds later.
Yeah, I can't argue that. Again, there's probably no evidence out to show what.
Also, what's really bugging me is Ryan Johnson.
Right.
Because post it, he's like, people are giving these genuine like critiques of it, and he's just saying that I wouldn't take anything back.
No,
and he's being really. It's a really smug film.
Yeah, but really how can you say to someone like if somebody slated like your work or like, but you knew what you were doing with it, you're like, no, I'm proud of this. I'm really, really happy that I made this film. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't, and then it's like very divisive. Like, would you want to say like, oh yes, I would change everything to try and like please everyone? Yeah, everyone would love that, but like. It's as you said. It's like the prequels. It's been done. You can't really do anything about it. So like, why not just be like proud and say, yeah, I wouldn't change anything about The Last Jedi because it's my movie. If I changed it, it wouldn't be my movie anymore.
I think I also have a problem with the fact that they give him another trilogy, aren't they?
Yes, they're giving him a unknown trilogy.
Skywalker free trilogy.
Well, I don't know if anything's been said about it. Like, I think it's just.
I've heard that it's a Skywalker free.
So just like a trilogy of some sort set within the Star Wars universe. So obviously not like. Well, technically everything's like Skywalker free after this point, nearly. Depending on what you count Leia as.
Well, she's dead anyway.
Yeah, well, they said her role will remain unchanged in Episode 9. Like, so whatever their original plan for her is in.
They really banked on the wrong original trilogy star.
That is very true. Like, the last person to be in the original trilogy still is the only one not here in real life. Yeah. That still upsets me. I still can't quite believe it.
We've got Lando Calrissian anyway, so I'm not bothered.
Yeah, Lando Calrissian trilogy.
Why wasn't he the hacker?
I thought that's who it was going to be.
Well, they were setting it up. Like Mars Kanata was like, oh, he's a rogue. He's handsome.
Yeah, I thought that it was that was weird to me too.
And that's Lando. That's Donald Glover.
It's very weird. Like,
I do realise that it's D. Williams that played him first.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to like look up some more Last Jedi stuff, or I think it's gonna be one of the very few movies that like when it comes on DVD, I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna be like, do I enjoy this? I think I still will. And
I've got one more problem.
Yeah,
I've got one more problem that I can think of before you continue your conclusion. The scene copying.
Now, I know I have very strong opinions on this. Yeah,
you briefly talked on it, and I didn't cast my opinion, and I don't know why I didn't do it back then, but I'm going to do it now. There's one obvious one that I can always remember, and it keeps sticking in my head. It's when spoiler zone
with this whole podcast is spoiler zones.
It's when Rey. Right, so in Return of the Jedi,
okay,
Luke hands himself in. He's handcuffed. He takes the elevator up with Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Rey takes the elevator up with Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
They walk across a bridge. Walk across like a corridor.
That's a bit of a stretch. Like, I'm sure the elevator opened straight to Snoke's room.
No, and I can't remember, to be fair.
I'm pretty sure it went straight to his room.
Anyway, so they get into Snoke/Palpatine's room, right?
Yep.
In the Death Star.
Oh yeah, never mind.
In the Death Star.
Yep.
And his is a fancy Star Destroyer. And and it is the Fantasy Star Destroyer, right?
I think so. Yeah.
It's Snoke's Death Machine, I think it's called.
Pretty sure that's the canon name. Yeah.
Yeah, Snoke's Death Machine. So they're in there. She's still handcuffed. Luke's still handcuffed, right? They're both. I think at this point Luke gets unhandcuffed, and he's released.
Yeah.
And conversation ensues. Rey's still handcuffed, compared to Luke being unhandcuffed. And then in the background to this conversation and all this, Luke's friends are on the forest moon of Endor.
Yep.
Trying to take down the back shield generator on the forest moon of Endor, so they can take down the shield that is currently protecting the second.
I think everyone knows this plot line.
Right, I'm going through it because it's scene for scene in the film. Bearing in mind, in The Last Jedi, Rey's friends, Finn, Poe Dameron, Leia, are currently...
Well, Poe isn't really, because Poe has his own storyline in this movie.
Poe, I haven't gone into Poe yet.
No, but I think that would be too... Wait. No, I don't think that'll be... I don't think it's really worth mentioning. Continue with your...
Rey's friends are all on a transport system heading to Hoth 2, but it's a salt planet this time. And they even have a guy that goes... picks up his finger, licks his finger. Bearing in mind, I don't know if anyone noticed, Gareth Edwards is stood next to him, the director of Rogue One. He goes, it's salt. Just so you know, it's not snow, right? It's a different planet.
Yeah, but I thought you was going to say about Finn and again, the parallel being Finn and Rose have to go into the ship to deactivate the shields. That core at the very center of the ship.
No, I'm not talking about that. That's not important.
I thought that was you're drawing the parallel of their friends going to...
No. They're going to Hoth, right?
See, this is where I already started disagreeing, because it's like you can't draw a parallel of shutting down a shield generator to them evacuating somewhere.
No. That's not the point.
Okay.
The point's coming next, right? So, oh, by the way, Hoth 2 also has got trenches outside the big door.
Yeah,
just like Hoth did.
Could have been a battle there. Just saying.
No, I'm just saying that they're using trench warfare again. Just saying.
Well, probably because that's what warfare is in Star Wars. It's like real life. World War 1 and 2 were the same. You got to copy each other because of trenches.
No, I'm just saying it's weird looking that we're on a white planet again.
We're on a blue
and we're
planet.
Using no, we're not.
I mean, on Earth,
Oh no, we're on another white planet, and we're going to use trench warfare for these big walkers that are all coming towards us. But that's not yet. That's not yet, right? The bit I was talking about is when Rey is force pulled and manipulated towards the window to watch her friends getting blasted as they're evacuating.
Yeah,
and he's like, watch your friends die. You cannot do anything about it. Bearing in mind, in 1983, in Return of the Jedi, Luke is directed towards a viewing scope, looking out to his friend's ships getting blasted, and Palpatine saying, "Your friends are being blasted. You can do nothing about it, and release your anger." And so then Rey's brought over, and she has a confrontation with Kylo Ren, and Luke's brought over and has a confrontation with Vader. The only difference is Vader and Luke fight, whereas Rey and Kylo just look at each other weirdly, like a incest relationship. And then, yeah, that's my parallel finished. Then
you have to admit the fight scene's really good, though.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's the choreography is really good in it.
Yeah,
it looks good too.
Yeah, it's a great looking movie. I think.
I don't. No, I think.
No, I'm saying because I feel like we've only been talking about the bad and trying to counterbalance it. We've not really focused on the good parts of the movie. I feel
like The Last Jedi is a very good film, but a bad Star Wars movie.
Like, at least you're saying something positive about it. At least you acknowledge.
It's well made. It looks nice.
Right, I'm glad that you've been able to like voice that because I was worried that
It looks really nice. It's a well made film. And if the plot wasn't related to a film before, it'd be fine.
so you just don't like the direction that it took from Seven.
Yeah, because it's not a good sequel. It's a bad sequel. And my other parallel is I'll go back to the Hoth slash Salt Hoth thing, right? So they're in the trenches watching these. Why on God's earth did they have to make a new AT-AT?
Again, we don't know what's happened in the last 30 years. Like, is it because of what happened on the Battle of Hoth that they had to like rechange how they work or their different armor?
Yeah, but your point's invalid because an old AT-AT is there. There are a couple of old AT-ATs there.
Maybe they ran out of budget. No, I'm just saying.
So they made
again,
bigger ones.
We don't know what the point of those are. Is that supposed to be like a commander one? And they use the old ones, and then that one is where like the most important people are. We don't know what it's for. Like
no, because Kylo Ren and General Hux are in the Imperial lander.
Yeah.
Dropship, sorry, and then the new AT-ATs
is the new AT-ATs the ones that carry the Death Star technology weapon, or are they original ones?
No, I think they just drag it and then they turn into the AT-ATs.
I was about to say, because I'm not sure. Like again, we don't know what these are then.
And also, we got new AT-STs as well, with wheels on it this time.
Maybe they got stuck in the snow one. I mean,
either way, it didn't make sense to me other than the fact they want to sell more toys.
See, I think that you've got that mindset though now of like
no, because that's what Star Wars is. It's to sell toys. That's the whole reason. It's to sell merchandise. That's why the Porgs exist. That's why.
I'll agree with that.
That's why BB-8 exists. That's why R2 exists. That's why C3PO exists.
I'm glad you're like referencing the entirety of Star Wars and not just
R2D2 and C3PO less because. Well, C3PO less. R2, his design is toy-like, but he does carry some weight. Whereas BB-8 is very merchandise heavy and doesn't really do a lot. It's quite. I don't like the droids in Star Wars quite a lot because they're used for merchandise.
Why you got to be racist against droids?
Because they're just not really useful most of the time. And I didn't like that the evil BB-8 either.
Yeah, you mentioned this to me the other week.
It's just stupid.
Well, it's the same as like anything. There's multiple versions of droids out there. We don't know.
No. It's just the way they set it up. Like
yeah, I get.
They have like a close up of the evil BB-8 trying to do a frown while he thinks there's something wrong with this droid that doesn't exist. That looks like a rubbish bin. It's going through and it doesn't know what it's doing. Yeah.
I feel like you nitpick a lot of unnecessary stuff sometimes.
It's just
like, does that completely ruin your cinema experience?
No, I'm just saying there's a load of when there's a list of bad things. That's when it.
But they're not bad. Like they're just they're just unnecessary, and it doesn't like. Well, to me at least, because I know. We're very different on movies because I've been told that I could watch paint dry for 3 hours and still say it's a masterpiece. But
I'm very picky. I'll admit that I don't.
Like I just don't. I guess I'm not very. I'm not very observant. I would say during movies, I just kind of watch it. It's weird. Like I didn't notice the arcing lasers that you've now pointed out to me, which I am very interested in. And I do
Google it. There's a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. Like go and research it after we finish up.
It's what it is. I can't phrase it any better. It's what it is. Yeah. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, I agree with you. But
like I'm about to say, like, and I'm glad you're like one of those people who, like, I guess this is why we're such good friends and still talk to each other 10 years later. But like you don't like necessarily well sometimes you can push your opinion, but like you won't do it to be like you have to like believe me, mine is the absolute.
No, it's just because I'm a very opinionated person.
I am supremely the Bailey.
Now the only time I will say you are wrong is if you say you like Alien Resurrection.
Is that like 4?
Yeah, that's 4.
Yeah, nobody likes that.
Winona Ryder, Ron Perlman. I was thinking about it earlier actually, because when I was at work I got a bit bored because I was just pressure washing something, and I was just thinking like, because people always, we're going to talk about Alien now apparently, but people always say that there are more bad films than good films in the Alien franchise. I disagree.
Yeah.
I think Alien is a masterpiece.
Yep.
It is my favourite film of all time.
Nice to know.
Aliens is a masterpiece. Not quite as good as Alien. But that's because it's a different type of film.
Yeah.
But I think it's the perfect sequel. I think it's the best sequel ever made.
The perfect sequel doesn't exist.
It does. Aliens is the perfect sequel because you couldn't improve Alien.
Yeah, there's no point in making the same film. People are gonna be like, "I've watched this."
To make another psychological thriller sci-fi movie was impossible. So you make the sequel an action horror film.
Yeah,
it makes sense. The only problem I have with Aliens, and it's a slight nitpick, but it does make sense, is that the whole point of Aliens is it makes them a bit like bugs.
Yeah.
I just feel like they need to be a bit more weighty. Like,
okay,
because they're supposed to be like unstoppable death machines, but they blast through them with guns really easy. But that's my only problem with it, and I don't think it takes anything away from the film though.
Yeah.
I think Alien 3 is good. I don't think it's bad. I prefer the theatrical release. I know a lot of people say that the director cut is better, but I don't like it as much as the theatrical release.
Everyone's got their own opinion.
Have you seen both, or have you?
I don't know. Whatever's default on the DVD.
I'll try and think of a plot line that's in one of them and not the other.
It's been a very long time since I've watched it.
Where did the alien in the theatrical version comes from the dog, whereas in the director's cut it comes from a cow.
Right.
And also, at the end of the theatrical version, Ripley catches the alien as it bursts out the chest, and she goes into the big fire pit.
Yeah, I've seen.
And the director's cut, she just drops down, I think.
Yeah, I've seen it where it bursts out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Resurrection is bad.
Why would you want the other version?
The director's cut, it improves some things. Paul McGann has a bigger part in the director's cut, and some people say he's one of the better things in it. Personally, I think he's not super necessary. It does make sense for some things, but I think some of the director cut feels a bit disjointed. It feels a bit all over the place sometimes.
Yeah.
Theatrical version feels a bit more well put together. I don't know if it's just me or not, but I just prefer the theatrical version. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but
let bygones be bygones.
Resurrection is bad. There's no justifying it. There is some cool set pieces in it, but it struggles because a lot of it's CGI. The inclusion of aliens being able to swim is kind of cool. I think some of the aesthetic to it looks kind of cool, but overall it's pretty bad. The bringing Ripley back was a stupid idea.
Yeah,
and that's Joss Whedon's fault.
Because doesn't that defeat the purpose of 3?
Yeah, exactly. 3 isn't as good as Aliens and Alien, but it finishes the trilogy off, which is fine.
Yeah,
in an alright way. It's kind of annoying because it gets rid of Hicks and it kills Newt straight away, but it's alright, you know. It doesn't do anything that wrong.
Yeah.
Prometheus, I like Prometheus quite a lot.
Oh, I didn't think you did.
I really like Prometheus.
Oh, good, because I enjoyed Prometheus.
Prometheus is really good.
I thought you was gonna slate me.
No, Prometheus is good. I really like it. I don't think it's a very good Alien prequel. I think it's a very good film, though.
I still need to watch Covenant.
Don't bother. I hate Covenant.
Well, you said you wanted me to watch it.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you was like, I'll buy you the DVD / Blu-ray, whatever you've got.
I got the Blu-ray.
You was like, just because I need to talk to you about it.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I watch it and I'll borrow it you soon or something. But
Yeah. Well,
I hate
whatever
it.
week you finally visit IRL, um, I'll watch it and then we'll be able to talk about it whichever following
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah. I just don't like it. I think it's stupid. I think it
Isn't Alien all
makes
about people making stupid decisions nowadays?
no
But
though.
Prometheus was, hey, this weird alien thing. Oh, let me touch it. Oh my.
Yeah, but Alien Prometheus. I get your point, but Prometheus is about something different.
True.
Prometheus is about an exploration of
Like a new planet. Kind of
religion.
thing. Oh, okay. I see that.
It's about God, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about the creation of man. Why we were created. What's the purpose of man? And it also stems into the android stuff. What why would we create something that can outlive us?
Yeah. I've always
Why
found
would we
Android
create
stuff pretty interesting.
why would we create something that's a perfect version of ourselves that is better than us?
It is quite creepy. I've always found
Exactly.
androids extremely creepy.
Yeah, the humanoid androids are. That's the problem with them.
Because it gets to that factor where it's like, it looks human, but you know it's not human. So that really
Yeah.
freaks you out.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas something like a normal robot that you can tell is like fake, you're like, hey,
Yeah.
it's fake. That's not creepy. Because I know it's not like a human.
I don't know if I've had this discussion with you before, but I went to around Halloween time. I thought I'd try something different. So I went to a couple of those scary maze things.
Yeah.
Where they like set up buildings and you go through all the maze.
No, I don't think
it's not a maze.
I get what
it's
you
not
mean.
a maze. It's basically like a walking sim where you walk around corridors.
Yeah.
Things jump out at you, touch you, and stuff. And there was one of them we went to, and because like each one has like 6 rooms, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And one of the clown ones was like a zombie clown thing. And you walk in, and it's none of it was scary. But then you got to this one clown, and it genuinely terrified me. Not to the point where I was screaming and running about, but I looked at it and I felt physically disturbed.
Yeah.
It was like a humanoid figure, but it was inflated.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't like that image.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's the same thing to your thing with the androids. Like, it's sort of supposed to be human, but it's doing something that's impossible.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you think you can't process it.
I think that's a good description for it. You physically cannot process like what you're seeing,
and you feel kind of disturbed by it.
Yeah, you initially think, I don't want to be near this thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it didn't put me off too much, but like in my head, I just couldn't not look at it.
Yeah.
And just think it was genuinely horrible to look at. It was weird. It was an experience I didn't think I'd have. Because I was expecting it just to be jump scares and stuff, but this generally had some scare to it for me. A bit like It this year did. I enjoyed it quite a lot.
Yeah, I've not watched it. I bought it by my dad because he's wants to watch it for ages. He watched it last week and he really enjoyed it.
Oh, the new It's amazing. I can't recommend it enough.
He didn't like Pennywise himself, but he really liked the movie.
I quite liked Pennywise. I thought it was really good. I thought Skarsgård did a really good job.
Like I don't know if it's because he's that nostalgia heavy on the original when he watched it as a kid.
Probably that might be why. It's a very different Pennywise. I think what I liked about it. See, a lot of people have been sort of what I've seen. A lot of people have disagreed, but I didn't think there was too many jump scares in it, and I thought there was actual scary moments in it personally. Like there was stuff on screen that I thought was quite disturbing.
Yeah, I was about to say, all I've heard about people say is, like, whenever I've talked to someone about it, they were like, "Oh, it was a terrible horror movie," but that's what I hear from people.
Where it just cut you out. What did you say? It was a terrible horror movie, but what?
But a good movie in general.
I thought it was an okay horror film. I thought Finn Wolfhard is pièce de résistance again. I think he's one of the shining stars of Hollywood. Personally.
Like I know people like really love the kids. They say the kids are great in the movie. Like,
They're really good actors.
yeah, we need more kid actors. Like, I'm glad they're like kind of kicking off again to show that you don't have to just be.
I'm not sure. Most kid actors are quite bad. If they just keep using the It kids, like if they kept putting Finn Wolfhard in films, or the little chubby kid that was really good, or
good kid actors, obviously, not like just any old schmuck.
One of the other Jewish kids, because it's just a bunch of Jewish kids. I shouldn't say that, should I?
You're not saying anything bad.
But it's very clearly just a bunch of Jewish kids. But they're good, so I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with Jews anyway, but...
Besides...
I shouldn't say Jews, should I, really?
Probably.
That just sounds like a derogatory way of talking about it.
Yeah, but, like, everything does it nowadays. Like, South Park. If South Park can get away with it,
True.
anyone can.
I can't remember what we were talking about. I thought we were talking about Alien, but...
Alien, Star Wars. I think it's a good place to, like, gather our thoughts and, like...
Yeah.
And try and kind of just sum up anything or any last comments.
In conclusion, I don't like The Last Jedi. Disney Star Wars.
But you
like it.
But you like the movie itself as a movie.
Don't get twisting my words. I said it looks nice and it works as...
That's what I mean. Like, and I'm just bad at it.
I think it's well made. I think it looks nice. I just don't like it.
I like it for what it is. It's one of my favorite Star Wars movies now. I'm looking forward to Episode 9 just to see kind of where it leads on.
Yeah, but JJ's back.
Yeah, but I like Force Awakens, and I like things that JJ does, okay?
I like his Cloverfield franchise.
There is a Cloverfield project
coming the third one.
Yeah.
It's this year now. It was supposed to be last year, October.
Right, we're getting off topic, but this will be like one of the last things we probably talk about. Have you seen, if you go into J.J. Abrams' IMDb page, how many untitled / projects he is officially working on but don't have released is ridiculous.
No, I haven't had a look.
If there is at least, I think, 60 projects with just question mark on it.
The trouble is, it's like, because JJ just has his own production company, so
he's crazy.
He could just be related to the title but not doing anything with it.
Yeah, kind of like Westworld, because he produces Westworld.
Is it a Bad Robot production?
No, it's considered possibly the best show on TV.
No, I said Bad Robot. That's his production house.
Oh, sorry.
That's his producing house.
I thought you was like, is it a bad robot show?
No.
I'm not.
Because like Lost was a Bad Robot program. Bad Robot.
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
Is.
I don't know. I just know it's on HBO.
It probably is if it's linked to J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, I hate it. I'm still the only person I know who has seen Westworld.
I know somebody, but I can't remember who it is.
Because I'm like, I knew that show before it even like had a proper name, and then I was the only person who didn't watch it, and then it became mainstream. So I was like, I'm not gonna watch it. I've
watched the film.
Yeah, my dad's watched the film. He's watched half of the show as well. We keep getting off topic.
I watched that years ago though, so I can't remember much about it. I just remember the bald guy.
Oh, quick thing! I remembered another game I played to finish up on.
That was a segment that came an hour and a half.
I'll leave it till next week then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're damn right you will.
Gives us more to talk about an actual PlayStation next week. Promise.
We probably won't talk about it then. It was good to talk about movies.
Yeah, it was a nice breakup from 2 million hours of Nintendo.
To be fair, we said we were going to change the running time of this show just for a little,
or just experiment with different times, to see what fits best.
A little insight to the show. We were going to experiment with running times. We've ended up going around the same time.
I think we've been like an hour and a half, an hour and 40.
No, it's been an hour and a half, but
yeah, so it's still half an hour shorter than last week's.
Yeah,
and I think it was good to add flavor because it shows that when we catch up, it isn't just about one specific. Well, it is about one specific topic for this, but we have a range of things to talk about.
Yeah. So I never know how to end things.
Yeah, that's something that will just come with time.
Yeah.
And more segments, hopefully.
Probably not. We should ramble.
Probably.
But
But like a couple of sections here or there, I like them. I like what have we played, what have we bought. Like some weeks will just
yeah,
be dead. Like because what have we bought can be changed to anything.
yeah,
Because
true.
there'll be some weeks where just nothing comes out like over summer.
Yeah, but it depends what we class as well. Because it depends if I buy some music, I'll probably just say I bought that.
That's a good
'Cause I don't really
shout
buy.
out. Like what?
I don't buy video games very often.
Good shout out, dude.
But yeah, so I think we both hope you enjoyed episode 2 of the catch up.
Episode 2, Attack of the Catch-Up.
Yeah,
The worst one yet.
Yeah.
Then we'll
We
get
had
good
some
on.
yeah. Just I want to give a quick update because I briefly spoke about it about release sort of times and
Scheduling.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, it will go up every Tuesday on SoundCloud, and you can find us pretty easily. Just search the catch up with Bailey and Fox, and you'll find it straight away on SoundCloud.
Yeah, I think even if you just search Bailey and Fox, I believe it comes up as well.
Yeah, probably. So just
unique.
if you like the show that much, just follow us on SoundCloud. Give us a like on the actual podcast as well. That'd be really great. Also, for YouTube releases, each episode will release a week. Will release a week after the SoundCloud release. So the first episode of this will launch on our YouTube channel, which is the Catch Up Podcast on YouTube. Probably will be hard to find us for the first couple of weeks because the way YouTube algorithm works, the more stuff you upload, the more likely your channel will pop up in the search. But just find us on YouTube. That'd be really great. But it will release a week after each SoundCloud release. So if when episode 1 came out last Tuesday, episode 1 will come out on YouTube this Tuesday alongside the release of episode 2 on SoundCloud. So every week, you know what the deal is. You gathered that, I think. That made sense. But yeah, so that's the release window. So again, like I said, if you like the podcast, you can either listen to it on YouTube or listen to it on SoundCloud. So give us either a subscribe on YouTube or a follow on SoundCloud. Either way, we're both happy. And you get to listen to our podcast again each week. And if you've got anything to say, post comments as well. It'd be really great. Really great to hear feedback as well on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good time to sign off.
I hope you've enjoyed episode 2, the catch up. It's been great catching up with you, Fox.
It's been great catching up with you too.
Yeah, I'll probably just end it after I've done this little bit now.